Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, welcome you back to Lovecraft Country and Cultist Simulator, Tips and Tricks, Priest DLC version. Now, first of all, unfortunately, this is not a live episode. Again, my ISP and my signal are giving me issues, so I can't maintain a steady stream. This, however, is an insomnia episode, as it's currently about 2:40 a.m. in my current time, so yeah. I've taken enough a bit of a coffee. We should be fine with this. Now, before we begin, however, I have to make a confession. Haha. I missed a perfect opportunity last episode. I should have named that Ring Around the Rosary. Yeah, it's a terrible pun, but that's kind of what you're in for with me. So, in any case, let me get this sound adjustment here. I didn't want to cause the peaking I was having a couple episodes back. Now, this might make my voice a little softer, but it's also not going to make me all staticky. Now, okay, so first of all, I did some grinding off screen, as you can probably tell. The cards have moved around. Why, I've done about 5 Ring Around the Roses with the unnumbered stones, the tactic I taught you last episode of repeating this one over and over again. And you can see I filled out the lore on the right-hand side here quite nicely. But it's starting to get to the point of diminishing returns, and I need to be able to get more targeted. I have to get off of the heart cult so I can move on to the higher levels of the Mansis, and I need to get through my my cult to do so. Still at 5 here. Now remember, I require a total of 16 in lore, in influence, or tool in order to be able to upgrade any of my disciples to Exalted. Now I only have at this moment 6 lore, unfortunately, and I have a tool of 4. Getting an influence of 10 to go with that 6 would be difficult, to say the least. Now, as you can see, I have quite a bit of 2 influences down here with the, in the center, not down here, with the vitality lesson learned. God knows I keep getting so many of those from doing labor, but we need to think about other options here. Now, when I started going through my other material, to get additional additional standing stones for Ring Around the Rosy, I got the Hebe Stanton. Now this is the random one that comes, and when you put it in a card, it will just randomly come up as any secret history. In other words, if you put a secret history in, I'll say 4, and you're expecting to get something, and suddenly the Hebe Stanton can pop up as a random draw. The higher the secret history lore you're going to be using, the better chance you're going to get the Hebe. So if you drop in like a 14 and suddenly you get this boat rather than, Port Noon or something else you were expecting, that's the reason why, because, it's about a 90% chance of doing that if you haven't already gotten it. If you're doing the strict Even Isle Express, it tends to pop up pretty quick as you're going for the highest levels of secret history. I got up to 8 over here quickly. Now the thing is, of course, in the Priest DLC, you're kind of cut off from the higher levels simply because you're not going to be able to get to the 3rd level of the Mansis, because you can't answer the Stag riddle, because you can't get the riddle, because you don't have actually ambition, because it's your cult that's doing peer pressure to make you into an evil person. Yes, it's complicated, but everything about this story's backstory is complicated. In any case, we should probably get to doing something. I gotta wait till this bid over here runs out before I can start thinking about getting to the Hebe. Now, you recall that I have to be very careful about what expeditions I take here. The thing about the Priest is you need as many cards, passion, health, and reason cards as possible. If you start bumbling into ones that have curses, you still always, no matter how good you are, have a 10% chance of losing one of these cards, unless you're really good at making influences and you get a heart influence of 10 or 15 in the worst possible case. But one advantage of the Hebe is that it has a lot of books and it's not got a curse. So we're probably going to tackle that right now. Now, a couple things happened off screen that were rather important. For example, I only have 2 moth people to give me a total of 10 for any moth trial that I have for the challenges. The problem is Porter got a hit, which means he's got 1 old wound scar. If any mortal, enemy, or friend, or ally, I suppose we don't have friends in a cult, gets 3 of the same wound, they die and they're gone. Now, the odds of Porter getting 2 more of the exact same scars is about 1 in 9, and I would have to, of course, use that. But since I don't have a backup moth person, I'm going to avoid moth trials for now until I can do so. Now, you may remember last episode, I I turned a police detective into Ash. So we're currently not being stalked by the law. I've been very careful so far, but from this point forward, we have to consider what we're going to do. Also, I got Stum. Yeah, so I'll be getting one of my favorite rituals going. In any case, let's get the hebe started. Now, the reason I said that, by the way, is that we are not going to be sneaking into the hebe. We're going to be going in guns blazing. I'm putting in 10 edge in order to take care of the guards at the plank. So, and the other thing about this is that the next 2 trials after that only require 10 forge. I've got all three forge disciples up and running. Now, I cannot recruit from the gang very well. I'll call it my gang. Okay, congregation. Okay, we're doing the priest one. I can't recruit for my congregation without almost certainly getting the police's attention, because it drops a mystique every time I go looking for them. And since I'm using the talk verb at the same time... It's up to using the talk verb at the same time. I can't set it up to catch the notoriety. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing expeditions and trying to... Oh, damn it. Sorry. Okay, let's try that again. You two, get in there, do some damage. We're going to be doing expeditions until we inevitably... And I'm going to try to be grabbing the notoriety with one of the heart people until I fail, and then I'm going to bring up the cult again. So in any case, let's get started with trying to ransack the hebe there. I don't have anything better to do with my time, so I guess I'm going to go out and do some more exercising to keep up the money. Yeah, I do have these guys set up, except of course for the gravy train, except for the forge. I only have 2 forge. I've had such rotten luck getting forge books. In any case, let's see how this goes. And as soon as we get the study one clear, I will... Oh, there we go. Yeah, I have to keep the, I don't favor with authority a little bit. I have to keep looking for additional secret histories, because I had just been burning through these like crazy. And I can only access this level. So this keeps going on and on. And on and on and on. Yeah, the game about this game is that you have to be really happy to grind. You guys have the benefit of editing. All right, so cool. The expedition continues. Now, as I said before, the forge people are going to be the ones that I... either throw in here for both the piloting and of a ship, and to break down a door. The forge people are very versatile. Forge is probably my 3rd favorite aspect. Forge cults can be useful if you're willing to risk them building additional stuff, because if you I've done this before, one of the other scenarios, and where let's see, study. Do we have any use for study right now? Or am I still just randomly putting together vitality because I have nothing else to do with it? Oh, God, the sheer amount of red. Okay, so, yeah, we have the Stum. Now, we've got to make sure, by the way, when we do Stum, that we're not going to blow a dread trap, which is why I checked that here. Because when you do this, you get dread plus level 6 winter, plus, of course, the... my favorite ritual, the one that uses influences. I can't remember, probably right. I can't remember which one it's on right now. But in the meantime, of course, we'll continue exercising, because that is what we do with the priest, ironically. I swear I'm using more red than I was with the dancer. Ah, there we go. The cops are looking for, well, what happened to their freaking detective. They're probably a bit upset that a pile of ash tried to walk into, there we go. There's the second forge person. That'll jump up to 90% success rate. Just, tried to come in to call a duty there. I mean, to stand their duty. Okay, that's great. I have an alert that my battery's low in my headphones, so that could mean that I have to pause at one point, just to giving you a heads up in order to be able to replace it. But I'm going to forge ahead because I've got at least a half-hour charge. If I'm right, there's a level 4. We could use that later. In the meantime, we still got enough health, so we're going to continue to dive in, as it were. And let's get that back into the underworld. Okay, so we're going to keep up the expedition for now by throwing in, since we have all the aspects we need, we're going to throw in pawns so that we're not going to be terribly upset if something happens to them. We always want to have a red shirt ready to absorb anything that might affect an actual useful character. There we go, contentment, because the cops have no idea what we're doing, and we're going to dread trap net. Of course we are. We're going to have to be quick on that. The nanosecond that the dread comes up, I need to be able to do something with it. How is the question? Dread. There we go. Oh, I should have left this open. I had the cash to do so. The sunset right. That's the one that will allow me to clear the dread, but again, I'm about ready to blow the dread trap. So, overthought that one, unfortunately. It doesn't matter. One dread's not going to kill me. I'll just get terribly drunk to get rid of it. Yeah, it says we take a tincture of opium, but I don't really like opium. I mean, I don't want one that makes me kind of blasé. If I'm going to take drugs, I want ones that, you know, give me a trip, as it were. There you go. Have fun. Okay. I imagine hallucinogens are part of a daily diet of a cultist. I mean, you could do this stuff and be sane. Good lord, what would people think? Okay, so the question being, what do we want to do with that? I guess, since I was planning on using that to summon a beast, I guess we're just going to keep drilling away at this, and so we can afford our night on the town that we're going to need to get rid of that dread trap. Alright, dread trap will keep circling around, glimmering. Keep circling around until it's used up. In the meantime, however, like I said, there you go. Have a night on the town. It will create a contentment, since this contentment here will be dissolved by the time that the cycle goes through. Yes, timing is everything in this game. That will mean, of course, that we'll be able to continue our lives with chemical assistance. I imagine cultists desperately need chemical assistance in just about everything they do. No, there's a glimmering we can bring in. I suppose we could create a glimmering. Lesson learned. If you need 2 point, that would give us a 2-point moth influence, which we can use to summon one of the beasts, as it were. I'll show you in a moment. Once we get that option, there we go. All right, so I'm going to toss these in to grab the 2-point moth influence. As you can see right here, by the way, that lets you alerts you that you are going to create a 2-point moth one. Essentially by counting the ones in there. Also should double check this. Ah, yes, our strength is matchless. We're going to be killing everyone. Like I said, we've gotten a bit bloodthirsty as the priest, far more than we have with the dancer. This really, I should be surprised, but considering the amount of violence that tends to follow in the wake of religious history, we probably should be used to that. In fact, we could start another inter-rivalry war in this episode if things go the way I think they might go. Okay, so we've got more than enough health remaining, but the question, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one more pop here, you know, just to keep ourselves vital, as well as continuing to drop down into the underworld in between. I guess we do that for breaks in between squats. All right, okay, there we go. Notoriety again. Could have a problem if we run into notoriety at the same time. We're going to be doing this. Okay, boom. Yeah, we killed all the people watching the ship. Like I said, we've gotten a bit ruthless. I've tried the sneaking thing, our guy got shot, now we're just, you know, going in, like, because in game terms, the reason I'm doing that is I have the 3 edge companions, which means that, cultist, congregationalist, whatever you want to call it, and only 2 moth ones. So that's going to that makes the moth ones more valuable. I'm attempting to preserve them, and as soon as we have that influence, I will create the monster. Okay, logistical difficulties, throw in the cash. I just think they're spending it on something. You know, they tell me that they're having trouble breaking into the ship, but in reality, they're just kind of planning for the after dark mass celebrations. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we can do with this. See, I'm going to put in the 2 points of moth here. At the same time, I'll throw in, where we got it, the Grail, work, and then Enid. Boom. That makes a combination between, we have to have 6 Grail, we've got 8. We've got Enid giving us 2, well actually 5, but 2 knock, and we have 2 moth. That will give us the raw profit. So like I said, you can just generate a raw profit anytime you feel like it. Of course, unless something goes horribly wrong and it tries to break out on us, but we'll deal with that situation if it actually happens. In the meantime, really don't need to study anything. You know, I got 2 books down here, but I've got those for a reason for later on. Anyways, let's hit it. Okay, so be continuing our little expedition into, well, I like to think of it as the cult version of Gilligan's Island. So, ooh, whoa, there, it's definitely, we are getting dropped on hard. All right, so boom, boom, and boom. All of the problems just disappeared into nothing, and I just like it when that happens. Yes, the amount of vitality I have is ridiculous. It's going to stay that way for a while, too. All right, so boom, what do we got here? Okay. Okay. Forge of Knights. I'm just throwing another pawn in. Give them experience. The red shirts get restless if you don't let them do anything. You don't want restless cultists. Restless cultists do things like break into your forbidden library and say the wrong words. And next thing you know, you're putting down a zombie apocalypse in your basement, and it's just not the freaking fun you think it would be. Death of a door. Boom. We got that done. And boom. All right. So, yeah, we'll get rid of that. Okay. Boom. We have the Red Prophet. Granted, the Red Prophet, I don't have a lot to do with him now. I would have tossed him in the expedition, just do that. But it does want to show you just how easy it is to get one of those things. You just have to create a two-point influence. In fact, oops, nope, the wrong one. In fact, this one right here, the Fleeting Remembrance, boom, that's 2-aspect moth. I could have done it with that too. And those just rain on you. So again, you can get pretty less. And remember, this guy gives you a 2 moth and a 2 grail, which will get you through a lot of problems. In fact, I could have just seduced the guys in the boat, but you know, I'm in a mood. Okay, so deep breath. We're still going through this here. So once we get through that, I should probably leave this open to set up that. In the meantime, we'll just, you know, keep doing. In between one of our sets, we just kind of, and now we're sick. Again, I don't think we're going to be really hard up in the vitality to fix that. In fact, let's see. You two, why don't you two get together? Form another vitality lesson learned, because I'm about to have another one pop back into vitality. See, apparently when he doesn't have anything to read, he just exercises like crazy. Ooh, pulsing arrows, it's a 6-pointer. Oh, can we 6-point? I don't have 10 points lore. If I did, I could create such a nice thing. But, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And let's just nap at this point. Okay, so treasures lie before us, which means we want to set up one of these two to start trying to grab that notoriety before the cops can. Worst comes to worse, I'll keep a slot open. I have a dread trap going. In order to be able to, I'll keep a slot open in order to be able to the work slot open in order to be able to grab the notoriety with the painting if necessary. It's good for a temporary fix, but it tends to create more and more mystique, so eventually you're destined to fail. Once you give above 4, you can't cover them all. Cozy nest. Keep going. Okay, and at the same time, we should be fine. Meantime, might as well, for not doing anything else with the health. Boom. I know, once we get to the sickness here, we'll deal with it. But first, I need to see what we're doing next. Yes, we're going. Nothing. Okay, good. Alright, so let's see. It's all just going kind of crazy. Kind of wonder, what can you put in here? Ooh, you can put a vitality. Why don't we do that? Let's put in a vitality. And we need... That's Unceasing Mysteries, but we'll just put in the highest one we got here. Alright, cool. We can just keep using vitality to pump up that 6-point influence, which is awesome. Anyways. Alright, so there goes the vitality. I timed that perfectly. And that is a lot of books. You'll notice that we have the tantras, which are usually at least a 6 when it comes to the appropriate lore. And we have a total of 4 of them. The one, of course, we want is the red one, the ceaseless tantra, which refers to the ceaseless nature of the Thunderskin, that will allow us to be able to get the sufficient lore. Now, the second thing we need to do is we need to keep coming in here until we find the appropriate place on the continent. I'm not going to be using unnumbered stones right now because getting this item would be kind of course, a random draw, probably 1 in 20. But if I get the appropriate one that I want to target to get the pigment to create the 8-point heart tool, I need Formir Abbey, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Of course, in the meantime, I'm going to keep this slot. Don't need to keep this slot open, so I can do this, get the vitality out of it, and move on with my life, or their lives. Boom. Okay, but you do notice that, by the way, we do have our pulsing airs back if I really wanted to. Now, if I wanted to upgrade that again, I'd actually unfortunately need a... Oh, hang on. Yeah, influences, learning how to use influences is important. Now, you'll notice, by the way, I can only combine it with a 6-pointer, but I can also combine it with a 6-point grail influence. The reason is that will subvert, remember before the subversion thing, this into a 10-point grail. I have no need for a 10-point grail, mind you, at this moment, but I just, might need it. In the meantime, however, what I need to do is take the Sanskrit card, boom, translate the Tantra, because I desperately need that 8-point part one. Now, hebe is a hell of a treasure trove if you're looking for a mid-level lore. Okay, please tell me you're going to get rid of that notoriety, because I desperately need to, and we did. Good. So, again, we're clean with the cops. As long as we play it close to the chest like this, we should be fine. Notice I'm saying should be fine, because, stuff goes sideways all the time in this game. Half the game... Ooh, good, 6-pointer. Half the game is, in fact, dealing with us times it goes crazy. Alright, boom. Vitality. Give us back that health. Yes, as long as you can bulldoze through the problems... You can always make progress. You can't. Sometimes you don't make it quickly, but you're still making progress, and that is exactly what's important. Oh, another nothing happening. I can deal with that. Nothing is really good in this game. You have nothing that's actually trying to oppose you. So yeah, we're going to need form your Abbey before we go on to the next step. In the meantime, we'll be going to go through a lot of different books. That's the Foreman House. I don't need that one. I guess I should probably start putting these over here. Again, the bar is going to keep getting larger on me. So, we'll take another one of the 6-pointers, because there's only so many places we can go. Now, because I've done Ring Around the Rosie, the 6-pointers are going to have a lot less to them. Unless you're specifically going for an item, you want to skip the 6s. The tier 6 vaults, because you've already rated them by proxy by going through the numbered stones. The numbered stones pull a book randomly from a location, then that location not going to have that book anymore, because all book cards are unique. And I hope I made myself understood on that. If you guys ever have questions about something I've said, just hit me in the comments. I'm gonna be able to answer it. If not, look it up. I will look it up. Yes, I do use the Cultist Simulator wiki, but unfortunately something's happened to it lately, and like the main page, its navigation page is gone, so unless you know which ones you're looking for, it can become an incredible pain to try to navigate it. But, by all means, do try if you can. If I remember, I will put the link in the description. And you can look up just about anything you like. Now, understand that the people who wrote that and I have different takes on some of the lore. But since that's just kind of the sprinkle rather than the crunch, it really doesn't matter. Oh, the Vandersoft collection, that's also not what we want. And I do not want to go there because it has a curse I hate. Okay, but, boom. Now we have 2 level 6 ones that can give us a level 8 necessary, but I desperately want to make sure that I have a level 6 of my own later on to go on. So what I will probably do is hit, let's see, where is it? It's not St. Agnes's, Forgotten Mithram. I'll probably have to hit one of the other vaults to double check that. In the meantime, if I want to combine these two to do so, because we've got a ways to go before we can get the to Stag. I'll need to get both an intuition, which since you have HQ with the sanctuary, it's not an issue, and practical experimentation, which means that I don't need to generate either a glimmering or a erudition in order to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up to 8 as quickly as possible. Now, while we're doing that, we're going to continue to look for, as I like to say, the Abbey that we need. All right, let's keep going. You notice that when you're playing it too close to the chest, you don't use the talk verb that often, which is really meta if you think about it. Loose ships sink cults. Sorry, wait, loose lips sink cults. So, gods. And we just got that all the stuff from a ship. I'm like, whatever, guy. All right, so yeah, we're going to continue burning through, trying to do so. Remember, if this gets rather repetitive at some point, I will skip ahead to where it gets a little bit more to it. Yeah, fascination. I love you, but we need to not get so absorbed in some of the things she says. Oh, and there's the fascination trap. Of course there's a fascination trap. Okay, so we're going to need to be dreadful, which is possible. This is going to be kind of nuts, by the way, but I can summon a maid in the mirror if to combine these two. And then take care of it that way, or I could go to Mithram, grab that. I think, let me check something real quick. If I remember how this rite works, invocation, instrument, and offering. The offering is an ingredient. So in order to do this, I would need to sacrifice an ingredient. I do have a number of them over here. That's a 4-pointer though. I don't have, I could sacrifice the paste, then come in, use the instrument and the invocation. Yeah, that would actually work. If I really wanted to, I could do the maiden in the mirror, but that's kind of a convoluted way of doing things right now. It's a waste of an ingredient. So what I'm probably going to do is just let this thing ride until I get a dread trap or generate a dread. Because you can not really panic. I mean, one of the easiest way to do so is just keep hitting the orchard on level 4, because one of the 3 draws, you have 3 draws. It's level 6 influence, a level level 6 lore, or a dread. If you're doing the orchard in the tier 4, god damn it. Yeah, the white door version of the manse. So we can probably get away with that. In the meantime, again, continue jazzercising. Yes, jazzercising for Cthulhu. You know, there are stranger rituals. Oh, gods. We're going to get everything but, aren't we? Luckily, I've been investing heavily into these sort of runs. Second to last one, though. So, right, we need the intuition. So, luckily, like I said, we start with the church, so we don't need to do anything there. Church is kind of the opposite of the bookstore. It will replace any glimmering rather than any erudition. But again, that's not as useful. I'll need to get the bookstore before I get any high-level lore running. Okay, so again, and again, we just keep we're the hamster on the wheel running this cult, aren't we? All right, so yeah, the red's just. I'm just ignoring the red at this point. Let's hope that we're going to find that Abbey. In the meantime. I don't know what that trap was. I was supposed to go the other way. Whoops. Anyways, erudition's okay, but in the meantime, oh yeah, there we go. We're gonna be sick and crazy. It's great. Absolutely fabulous. Well, I suppose it's one way to go. Pretty common way during those times. God, the casualty rates. You mean, the thing is, we're talking about how bad things are during the pandemic here, but there's the Abbey. Bingo. Alright, so we can start that if we're appropriate. We've got dread coming, so I don't need to grab this, but I do, however, need a practical experimentation, and I need a health, which I don't actually have at the moment. See, I've got 30 seconds to provide it. This has got 21, and yep. Okay, so we're going to be okay. This 21-second one will, as long as I remember to keep an eye on it, I'll be fine. Sometimes you can mess yourself up if you're not careful. Okay, so we're going to leave that one. We're going to leave the work verb blank for a moment. On the other hand, we are going to start the Abbey run. Now, the Abbey run only requires, let's see, the Abbey one, if you're doing it right, only requires 10 moth. In other words, both of the challenges in the Former Abbey can be hit with just the moth one. It's the monks plus the perilous forest. So, what we're going to do is we're going to, however, just toss in one of our moth people, because we're going to have the option to, at some point, before we get to the first challenge, be able to put in the second person. This means that we'll save 1 fund. And yes, it kind of means it being cheap here, but every single thing counts in this game. I mean, if I'm down to, I'll have 1 more fund to avoid starving to death. There we go. Now we toss in. Boom. She also counters the exhibition, and we have, as you can see down here, the 10 moth combo that will get us through both of those scenarios. Because if you see down here below, we've got Peril Prowl Forest, which can be done by moth, and of course monks, which can be deceived by moth. Okay, so yeah. In the meantime, come on. Alright, there we go. Practical experimentation, since we don't have a prisoner, and we'll heal it with a god-awful amount of vitality if it really comes down to it. But it means that our health is kind of all over the place right now. Yeesh. Health is going to be important for us. Okay, so I don't know if you're getting the battery low indicator when I'm doing this. It would be hilarious if it was, but if you did just hear that, I apologize. Okay, so we're going to toss this in here, grab this for the moment. Yeah, we'll deal with the restlessness when it comes up, because that's going to end the fascination trap when it becomes a dread, so we'll be cool. Yeah, we'll just take that. Okay, so yeah, Fruit of Truth. Gods. Alright, so you're the oldest vitality, you go in there. Alright. So, let's see what we got. Alright, so yeah, we're blinking in the light, we're going to be able to pass that one. That's going to end our fascination trap. Oops, we want to make sure. Yeah, we're going to throw in minions, because if we fail with the monks, 10% chance always. we're gonna just throw minions at them and hope they kill the minions and not us. Because wounded minions are actually the best minions, because they will go up 2 points in anything. Yep, we get through the trees. We're cool there. Alright, so. And we'll just keep doing this. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Swear we're missing a health here somewhere. Oh, wait. Just throw one in there, that's right. Oh god, we're exhausted, like crazy exhausted. Okay, so the next time, we definitely need forge, so the next one we're going to translate is going to be that one. The incandescent tantra, which is the color of forge, which means we'll be getting forge lore from it. At least when we just... gods. Oh boy. We're getting plenty of happy thoughts. Alright, so yeah, logistical difficulties, throw in the cash, because minions will not fix that. Grab another health back. Whew. Back to the underworld. Which we will not, by the way, be getting there we go. There's the dread card, so we're good there. So we can risk getting a fascination card, as this one will seal up again. Yeah, you have to keep so much in mind for this part of the game. Right now, primarily what I am doing is trying to progress against the current. Current's always against you in this game. If you want to have, there you go, 2 minions. If you want to have, you know, a good example of succeeding against diversity, this game is definitely it. All right, so yeah, we've got the translated one. Now we're gonna get the forge from it. At least 6. At least 6. Hopefully exactly 6, because we kind of need that. And there's the dread trap, which means we definitely won't be visiting the orchard like I planned, because we don't want to actually get dread now. Ugh, conditions. If you want, like I said, a game's going to teach you how to be sharp, this is it. Alright, because you have to, especially if you're going to play it at advanced speed like I do. Alright, I don't think there's any speed run. If there was a speed run, there you go. This game, it would definitely be the Grail one. As I explained earlier, there's a shortcut for winning the Grail. Okay, so keep going. Boom. We're definitely continually exhausting ourselves. I can't even keep track of the vitality at this point. The health alone is causing issues. Alright. And come on. Say we passed that. Yep, we did. Okay, that means we need to set up with you. Come on, Clavette. Take away my notoriety, because I definitely do not want to, end up. Because if we fail doing that, we're going to end up getting our least favorite person back. That will mean that I get the cult done, however, because I'll just spam the hell. There we go, 8. Prefer to 6, but, you know, we'll live. The 8 will allow us to pretty much do whatever we want, and again, let's step closer to becoming the 10. Alright, in the meantime, since we've got these, we might as well use them. The Leonine Tantra. Okay, so, yep, Sanskrit. Next Tantra, we might as well just keep burning away these lore books so we can get, you know, more lore. Okay, so boom, there we go. If we're not lucky, we're gonna get our old friend back. Okay, yeah, let's take the Furtive Truth. Take the easy one on this. Alright, and, you know, just nap. Because gods know we probably need it. Running like crazy in this particular session. Don't know if we're gonna make it or not, but hopefully we will. Ah, he got it. Alright, so basically we're back to doing the cult at this point. Okay, but we do have with this the rose dust, which will allow us to be able to the tantra. We will allow us to be able to wait, what's that one? Oh, right, we've already got the Aramic card, so you might as well just toss the Aramic translator book, see if we can get a fund out of it. And I think, let's see, oof, we got a bit here, didn't we? Okay, so yeah. Yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of reading to do and a silver spintra. Okay, so we're not going to be problematic for cash at all. We'll probably just keep this going because it's kind of still going there. Can't even grab it with the... Oh, we got Dr. Natalia. Luckily, Dr. Natalia is, of course, one of the advanced hunters, which means that she's, of course, idealist. She cannot be demoralized. but I could try to drive her crazy. She's meticulous, always succeeds, and she's mortal. The mortal part we're going to be taking care of because, yeah, I guess we're at war with the Bureau at this point. They're sending out their good agents, which means I need to get an 8-point. How many of these do I have? Yeah, 3. So I'm going to be getting an 8-point lore for Winter so I can summon someone to take care of her. In the meantime, we're going to have to, go below the radar again. But we will be increasing our cult. Now, what may happen here is I may skip ahead at this point, because at this point, I'm going to be breaking down lore. Once I get to the next expedition, by the way, I will begin recording again. In fact, wait, I might be able to continue to do this. See, I don't want Natalia getting any notoriety, so I will not be expediting while she's in here. So I will be having to kill her. The problems of being a priest of the Dark Lord is that, Dark Lords and ladies, and others, I guess. I mean, of all the entities that would probably be gender fluid, Eldritch Abominations would be among the highest. Well, we call them abominations. They probably think of us as abominations. Okay, so in the meantime, let's see what we're going to be doing. Okay, so we're back after a bit of a time skip. Now, just to let you know, a few things have happened during the time. First, we passed the 550 subscriber mark, which is going to unlock the next set of episodes for Cultist Simulator, and that's awesome. Thank you, guys. Next, as you can see, I think I've gotten the last cult member here, Pope Clifton, or I like to call him Pops. I'll need to initiate him later, but first of all, we need to get around to dealing with the good doctor, Dragon. Seriously? Dragon's your name? Ugh, for crying out loud. Anyways, if you want to just kind of scream, I'm actually, an occult being posing as a human, that would probably be a pretty good way of doing so, but I would at least say something like Drake. I mean, at least Dracula spelled his name backwards. Now, I want to eliminate her without making too much of a mess. Now, this is going to be kind of interesting. Now, I managed to snag a 2-point knock influence, so I've been using Sulachana's ability to keep it fresh to be able to use it for a summoning a maiden in the mirror, which is of course a 90% assassination attempt on the good Dr. Dragon, because she is not one of the ones protected against occult attacks. So we're going to get rid of her. And then, unfortunately, we're going to be having a lot of reputation issues as a result. So first things first, we're going to try to get a few things to do before I do her, because I want to have these guys be exalted so they have a 90% chance of getting rid of the notoriety they're going to be generating for killing her. Now, first things first is that we're going to have to summon, well, hey, let's fast forward here, summon the maiden in the mirror. Oh yes, I forgot. I set that up. Oh, well, I got a point. Oh, I could actually delay the event if I wanted to, but first things, boom. All right, so we've got this in place. Now we set up the sunset right. That's going to add the subtle flaw, and we're going to add rose for 2, because you require 2 edge, 2 knock, and 8 winter. Serve it to the sun in rags. As you can see, I've set up the points where I've got 8 winter, which is necessary. I've got 5, and only need 2 edge, and I've got 2 knock from the influence. No, we hit that, and hopefully we'll get it this time. Well, probably. If you're seeing this, we did get it, because I'm not the sort to force you to watch me do something over and over again. Now, let's see, why we're doing this. As you notice, I'm also combining some lore, and let's see, should I dive? Now, we're going to just nap here. Got enough lore at the moment if we be combining it all. Now, the other thing is that we are not needing to do any more talking. As you can see, I'm already set up to drop the smoke in case everything goes horribly wrong, because if she gets a hold because of her the meticulous aspect, she has a 100% chance of getting evidence, as opposed to the 70 to 90% of getting evidence if she grabs a notoriety. Now, first things first, let's get that maiden in the mirror created. Going to have to paint afterwards to get rid of the restlessness. Okay, we'll toss this in. Boom. And let's see. Boom. Oh god, another restlessness? What is this? God, apparently I'm having insomnia attacks. Alright, so summoning a rebellious spirit. So odds are you're not going to be seeing this, because I'm just going to banish her and be done with it. Dread, on the other hand, will allow me to be able to summon her again, assuming a dread trap is not something you're coming up with. Fascination, excellent. Alright, so let's skip through this banishing ritual first. We're going to try doing the summoning again, doing the dread instead. So if you are seeing this, that means hopefully this isn't going to take too long. Boom. Alright, so we got that back. We also have another chilly atmosphere, but we'll roll out this. Now we can use the dread because it, as you recall, has 2 edge, which means we can use it for any summoning that we want to do because summoning requires 2 edge, or at least the basic summonings do. The greater summonings require other numbers. I don't remember off the top of my head, but if you have an edge for greater summoning, you need 5, not 2. But fortunately, we have our disciples if we wanted to do that. In the meantime, we just dump in the things, and of course, we'll need our standard summoners, Neville and Enid, to give it another shot at doing so. Well, we're going to be drowning in dread if we're not careful here. Please tell me you're not... okay, notoriety. Not going to be an issue because we're not doing anything notorious, hopefully. Notorious. Alright, so yeah. What do we have now? Alright, so yeah, I'm going to probably continue to combine the lore for the secret histories while I'm not doing anything else. Simply because I'll be able to... well, what I should have done is actually... oh, there we go, another dread, which is good. We're going to have another dread on top of that, too, which means I'm going to be summoning a lot of things. The next summons, however, are all going to be the dancing spirit. Don't ask me to pronounce that name, unfortunately. Alright, boom. So we've got the maiden in the mirror. At the same time, we're going to have to lose one of these dread again, probably the one that just flipped, just in case. So, like I said, you can, like I've said before, if you've got the sunset right, you can transmit, and you have at least 6 heart, you can transmit any dread into the dancing spirit, which eventually becomes vitality. So it's really a long way of doing that, but you can do so, and she is currently active. Now, thing is, we have an option here. If I talk with the good doctor here, and drop the maiden in the mirror, that makes her inaccessible when they try to grab a hunter. Now, it's possible I could end up with a regular detective, and I'll take that possibility. But in the meantime, we're just going to kill her. There we go. Now, let's see. I probably should just get drunk to get rid of that last dread. You know, you don't want the dread to hang around for too long. You can get rid of one at a time using that influence trick with the sunset right, but in the meantime, we're just going to take care of issues the old-fashioned way. Okay, so the erudition, so we can combine. Now we need to... let's see. We've got that. We probably want to grab these two. One of the advantages of having the church is because it will allow me to do the 2nd tier test for free. The bookstore allowed me to do the 1st tier test. There you go. They can't find the good doctor because she's being ambushed, possibly be killed up, and now we're sick because we've taken too many drugs. You know, this rock and roll lifestyle of a preacher in a remote island is just killing us. Just killing us. Oh my god, we don't have we actually do not have a vitality. I may have to spend a cash on this. Okay, I can deal with that. Alright, so, you recall, alright, so we've managed to nag this guy, the 8 heart, 8 edge one, the percussant. There we go. So it's literally a play on the fact the drum is the spirit of the, that's the symbol of the heart, because, you know, the drum beats, the heart beats. And we all danced the cosmic rhythms. Okay, but in the meantime, we're going to have to generate a vitality. There you go. To get rid of some things. Boom. All right. So yeah, we've got kind of a retinue of spirits here. Now, I can actually, by the way, keep him fresh by having him search the city so it's not burning the timer. I've got nothing else to do with it at the moment. I will in a bit, but I don't now. All right, so yeah, we've managed to get notoriety, and she's dead as a dodo. Now, we should be able to, since it's an ingredient, lose this. Unfortunately, we're going to have to try to lose both of them. And 2 ways of doing that. One, of course, is the usual, which means I can use the 70% chance, at least. See if I can snag one of them in time. Now, the thing is, it's going to grab the other one. Yeesh, not going to be quick enough. I don't think this is going to be close. This, of course, is a knowledge test. We put that in. Notoriety. Stand by with the notoriety, because we might have to get rid of it by using painting. The question is whether or not painting can be done with a corpse. It's kind of iffy from my point of view. Alright, so we get rid of this. Now we have, let's see, an ingredient one, I believe, here. Let's see. The Cease Feasting has an invocation, which is lore. This one requires an instrument. We don't have a lot of instruments here, unfortunately. Do we have any instrument whatsoever? If that one doesn't work, we may have to go with this one. Sacrifice is knowledge. Not the greatest choice for sacrifice, but assistant and instrument not going to work. So what we need, we would have needed a tool. Either winter, what would be the choices? There would be winter, moth, or Winter Moth, or what was the other one? Edge. We don't have any of those, unfortunately, which means we're probably going to get screwed when it comes to this. Now, the best way to do this is that when he starts to grab things, we'll see if we can haul up the notoriety. God's timing, timing, timing. It's always about timing. Okay, so what we're going to try to do here, first of all, is see whether or not we can get... Let's do all this. I don't want to go too crazy with this. Whether or not we can grab that notoriety in time. It's going to be a race between circles at this point. Okay, the corpse is becoming another notoriety. We can actually deal with that. Alright. 55 seconds. Sorry, 5.4 seconds, 5.7 seconds. So we're not actually going to make it in time. So the only way we're going to be able to hide this is if, put it in normal speed, pause it at the last second, and we hide both the notorieties in a paint attempt. Okay, grab this. Put the notorieties in so it doesn't grab them. We're not going to put anything else in because we don't want to generate too much mystique. So we'll do that, and we'll choose some influence to grab. Ooh, wait, we're not going to do the maiden in the mirror. They don't. Making pictures of evil spirits tends to notify people of what we're doing. So we're just going to grab our memory. All right. Let me put this in for the intuition test. So we'll be able to get the level 8. And yeah, that one's not going to work, unfortunately. Oh well, best of efforts here. But we're going to have to be careful about if we're going to be able to pull this off. Restlessness again. And the Maiden in the Mirror will eventually become a 2-pointer for winter. Alright, so we don't want to actually add anything to this. Actually hoping not to make too much of a splash with this one, even though we're putting the evidence of our crimes on canvas to kind of go neater and neater to the Suppression Bureau. Okay, so let's see. Oh god, contentment. Wow. Yeah, peculiar rumor. We're not going to use that. The fitting thing is a peculiar rumor is technically a 1-point moth ingredient. Okay, so yeah. Now the thing is, I was hoping, by the way, with that ritual with the corpse to turn into a zombie, which makes it, disappear as a reputation issue, but we weren't quick enough, unfortunately. Now, what's the next one after this is going to be another restlessness, but that will, however, give us a little bit of leeway. Alright, come on. Probably should just get... Yeah, let's have Leo grab what he can of this. Alright, try to do better next time, Leo. Okay, that's technically my fault because I was mistiming it, but, we'll deal. Alright, so ironically, we got cash from that. Okay, cool, I can deal with that. Notoriety is still in play, and we definitely want to get rid of it. Now, thing is, we've got 64 seconds, so we can allow it to burn off. Once we get figured, and then we'll gonna hopefully get rid of it all that way. Now, I may find another way to get rid of it. Let's see. Right, we don't have to worry about it quite yet. Again, we continue to let it burn. And so we can create... I need to create the 8-point tool in order to get these guys to Exalted, so I'm probably going to have to do it sometime soon. Now, doing so generates an additional 2 notoriety. At the moment, I'm just going to keep using his charm abilities. Now, if I need to skip ahead, we'll do so, because one of the things about this is, of course, it's pretty much a waiting game, and oh my god, the mystique is off the board. Wow. Now, I got 3 contentment and 3 mystique. Well, what can you say? At least I'm a happy person. I'm actually... things that bring us joy. For me, it's, running a Lovecraftian cult. Of course, that's also how it is in the game. But boom. Terrible Chuck. Terribly sorry about that. Alright, so yeah, another restlessness. Technically, I should have the time to be able to get rid of that. Because this will not become this will not, in fact, become another attempt for the Suppression Bureau to detect us. So they're technically called seasons, by the way. The Season of Visions is the one that launches the fascination trap. Alright, let's go. Alright, so we now have a level 8. I'm just going to probably keep burning away at these to get higher and higher ones so we can get better lore book. Okay, so we burned out the reputation cards, and now I'm going to do a quick strategy called change of address. Now, I need to be able to create the 8-point heart tool to be able to advance to the point where I can get these guys to be exalted, as I was stating before, and be able to switch the cult to the moth cult. So, what I'm going to have to do at this point is break out this or the painting, nail each passion here, then hit it with the esoteric art one. Although I'm probably just going to put in, since it doesn't matter what level lore I put in, I'm just going to put in the 4-point heart one to be able to take care of that. Now, when that happens and we get to that point, I will do so. Now, I did double check, by the way, to notice that the next one is not, in fact, going to be the Suppression Bureau looking for me again. So we're doing okay. We're just murdering the occasional officer of the law that takes interest in our needs, and it's actually what standardly priests do, you know, as far as I know. Alright, so once we get to this point with the Colors of Night, we need to grab, of course, the Rose Pearl Dust. Now, I got this from the former Abbey, because it's one of the, it's the former Abbey always drops one of these. I could have gotten it up here. Sorry. I couldn't get up here from St. Agnes Hospital. That's guarded by a curse, and I don't feel like losing cards, especially in this particular run. So we're going to be creating an 8-point tool, but we'll generate 2 notoriety. Now, in doing so here, let's see if I can grab one of these with the good Leo. Don't mess this one up, dude. Now, that's not my usual strategy, but I'm going to see if I can extend out the strategy I have. So my strategy requires me to have additional headquarter cards. Now I have 3 of them, of course. The library, the other church, when it's located in London, and an abandoned warehouse just outside of London. All of these, of course, have their own attributes, and they can be used for specific purposes. We're good for a while. Okay, so boom. Okay, so yeah, something unique, something that's one of the tools. Now we got the 6-point pulsing air. I don't really have anything to do with it, I suppose. I could use it to summon another, let's see, we'll just grab Eldritch. You're not doing anything at the moment, and some Knockalore, and boom, we've got summoning one of the Thunderskins, which is what I'm going to call them, because the percussants just sounds a little silly. Okay, Thunderskin Spirit is being summoned, which, you know, sounds much cooler to me. And let's see, need to pass the knowledge test here. Still combining lore, and we have the 2 reputation here and the 8-point tool. Now, one of the things I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to take this abandoned warehouse. I'm going to have to take... maybe I shouldn't have done the charm one, but let's see if the charm works. Then afterwards, if I need to, I will use the unique ability of when you change your headquarter location, you can immediately grab a notoriety. It only takes 10 seconds. So if I have one of these notoriety that's still in play when the Suppression Bureau decides to roll past, then we're going to be dealing with the issues. It's a better way of doing it for the, let's see, there we go, 8-point tool. It's a better way than doing it to get rid of the priority. We can only do it so many times, and it messes with your location of your headquarters. Which, as you notice, the priest allows me to start with the church headquarters, and I can go back to them any time if I want to, using the one by essentially moving my congregation into London itself. Because that's, you know, sounds great. Oh, I got a bunch of glimmering too. Didn't even see that. All right, hang on. You know how orderly I like to be with these things. You know, surprisingly for someone who's about to found a chaos cult. Now, okay, so we definitely need to get rid of that notoriety. We have 59 seconds plus another 10, so 70 seconds to do so, which means technically this works, and it did not. All right, so we're going to do change of address. So first thing first is we're going to take our current address of the Heterodox Church, and we are going to, or do we explore this? Oh, there we go. Change of premises. We grab the one you want to go to, and we'll now move to do so. This will destroy the Heterodox Church, but like I said, we'll be able to get it back. But in the meantime, it'll reduce notoriety. So, change of address. And it takes 60 seconds, not 10. That, I don't know if I'm remembering that wrong, or that was something that was challenge intuition. The only problem being, of course, is now I would have failed the intuition, except I have all that glimmering going, which means technically my tests are going to get worse. And another rebellious spirit. This is just getting ridiculous. Some exits, like sometimes this just goes horribly wrong. Oh, we got another dread running too, which is great. In the meantime, okay, so we know we're not getting a dread trap for a bit, so there's no point in worrying about the dread as it stands for the moment. That essence of the heart, 2-point heart, will eventually become a vitality, so we're just dumping it with the rest of the vitality for now. Now, We're gonna, let's see, 17 seconds. They're gonna be able to do this. It's gonna be tight though. So I'll keep the options open to hold it with painting if necessary. Okay, so, and boom. There we go. Oh! The benefits of privacy. Yes! Alright, the thing is, when you're dealing with the warehouse card, yeah, here's the abandoned headquarters. Forget it, JN. Alright, my name's not JN, it's Father Ted. Now we have the abandoned warehouse. Abandoned warehouse has the secret, which use of this headquarters can cause reputation cards to disappear, which we did so. We just got extremely lucky. It also gives you 180 seconds. Now, this is a random shot. I estimate it to be somewhere between 30 and 50% chance of the time. We also have a pit, which means that we're going to be able to pass any test that deals with dread, but the thing is we already have the silent intensity, so it doesn't really help. The only reason I used this card, like I said, was to ditch a reputation card. And now that I have that, it kind of makes it pointless. But this won't be much of an issue, because once we can get rid of the wrong type of attention, as it were, I don't think we did that, one of those. And we've got dread. Yeah, let's just take care of that dread the new-fashioned way. And ice. There we go. Boom. Get rid of a maiden in the mirror. I should have probably not gotten the maiden in the mirror, but I just like them so much. Would have been better for a thunder spirit. Okay, I think we've got that one nailed down. Alright, so in the meantime, once we clear that dread, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start, well, do it right now. I'm getting distracted. Anyways, pop that in. Grab Leo, grab the 8-point tool, grab the 8-point lore, boom. We're going to make him into a Tartanalist. I'm just going to say Exalted. Some of this terminology is pretty weird. We could have used that if we got the dread, but you don't always get a contentment, even if you pass this scenario. Okay, so we'll just, let's see, anything else? Nope. We're going to just keep combining low-level lore for that right now. We're going to get rid of, wow, we've almost balanced out entirely. Okay, now the next thing I want to do, by the way, since I'm gonna have to, there you go. Since I'm gonna have to have, let's see what we're doing here. Another dread trap. Good thing I got rid of it, but I'll be getting it again once she decays. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is getting the moth tool up and running, because I'm going to be using the same ability, by the way, as the to get rid of one of the reputation by going back to the unattended church. Or I could just, use the unattended church, then roll into back to the bookstore, which is my eventual destination. That's going to give you both tools, and that's going to make things a little easier. But don't forget that once I have the Exalted here, I've got a 90% chance of getting rid of reputation, which means that I am looking pretty for this scenario. In the meantime, I'm just going to kind of keep up my day job. Funds are down to 29 from 35. I've been keeping an eye on that just in case, because you never know. And, the Maiden in the Mirror is useful to have around if I want to get through a particularly easy expedition with only her. And there are a couple of those. In fact, I might just save her for one of those. Meantime, boom. We're going to keep getting our people upgraded. But, boom. Again, we're going to have 6 Exalted, which, like I said, this is the only run you can do that in, because it's the only time you can have 2 aspects for your cult at different times. Alright, we're going to keep, since we don't really have any books to work, we're just going to keep upgrading all of this lore. Alright, so, put that in the nap status. Now, we have a good 73 seconds, so I can get through that without much of an issue and be able to get the both reputation cards. And able to do that, we're going to, let's see, I do have the piebald, don't I? Let's double check. Ooh, I was wrong. I thought I had the piebald pigment, which I was wrong. I have the winter pigment, which I don't, in fact, need. It's too bad I can't use the lethe for a painting. So, which means I'm gonna have to roll around and grab that, which means I definitely need to take an expedition, which means I gotta pick one that gives me the piebald pigment. Now, if you give me a second, oh gods, I've got a list of all of the expeditions here, but I'm gonna obviously not make you suffer through me having to jump through the hoops to get them. Hang on. And we're back after a brief consultation. By the way, the resource I use when I have memorized a lot of this game, but there's no way I'm going to be able to memorize every single expedition, and I am so glad for the people who created the Cultist Simulator fandom.com wiki. So you look up as Cultist Simulator wiki, which has a lot of this information, but keep in mind some of the updates have not have changed the rules a bit. A few cards have changed definition, for example, I've noticed, and by doing so, it's become slightly outdated. So don't rely 100% on it. But at the moment, the expeditions still work. And let's see, I'm looking for Crocus Hill. Now that expedition requires a 10 knock or 10 forge, and as you know, how I play is I prefer not to risk my big people. Now again, I'm going to be using that cheat, where if I only need, you know, one challenge, and I will always have a chance to put a second person in without having to pay for them, you know, because I'm cheap. Now it's obviously going to generate a notoriety card we will get rid of in a standard way, and we will deal with it if we have to deal with it. Now, again, no problems. Okay. And we don't quite have the dread yet. Now, let's see. Made in the mirror. Let's see. I just don't have a use for you at the moment. You just stand by there. You should probably keep a red day job just in case. Burning money. May as well make some money. Alright, so at the moment, got the health back. And we're running through the expedition. And as I stated before, we're just going to put that in so we have the 90% chance of passing that particular test. And don't forget, we now have a person with 90% chance of grabbing a notoriety when it rolls out if we time it out properly. And since I've got it open in the health, we're going to keep generating lore as well. You can see we're still rolling with that thing. Because it's always good to have as many expedition cards as possible unless you want to specifically have a rival, which will start grabbing them from you, which means you only want to use them when you want to expend them when you have attempt. Okay, attempt to what? Okay, attempt to, good. Attempt successful, we've got one more initiation, but the question is, do we want to keep the slot open? Well, hang on a second. Let me get to the point where, boom. Okay, so, right. This is going to be the point where we if succeed or fail. Now, the thing is, it's going to be 29 seconds to do that, 30 seconds for the result, and 30 seconds for the drop. So, if this succeeds, we can drop in Leo now, but I'm going to run it a little closer to get the success. It gives us a short period of time in which the Suppression Bureau will be able to grab our material, but I think we're probably going to be safe. Now, just thinking out loud here. All right, vitality. You really need to disappear, by the way. Boom. All right, so now we know what we're going to be getting next is going to be another dread trap. You, gone. Excellent. Deep breath. Continue working. Continue at that expedition. Don't need to add anyone else because this is the warded door is not one of the ones that will damage one of our compatriots. It'll just cost us cash if we fail. Purpose of the door is 2 purposes to open, to remain closed. Today this one is made true to its second purpose, which means we failed. It's going to ask for the cash, which is a good thing I did not put Leo in to attempt to grab it. Okay, so what do we got? Oh, glimmering. I could use that for one of our tests for combining lore, but I don't think we're going to time out that properly. All right, so just take a nap. Lots of sleeping. Get your sleep up. You know, if you don't have your health as a cultist leader, what do you have besides, of course, an undying energy that keeps you going at all times? Okay. Getting that super vitality again. It's going to be good. We're going to need it when she decays. All right, so logistical difficulties. Basically, if we fail that particular test, we basically cost us a cash. So just make sure you have cash. And there's that second one I would have spent if I'd had started with both of them. All right, you, health back, vitality back. Gonna try to multitask a little here. Okay. And boom. Ah, that's working. Now this is over 120 seconds. It is just barely, which means we can combine the bigger lore, which is what we're gonna do. No, I can't. I need an erudition. So that's not gonna be possible. Oh well. Oops, should have grabbed that one too. Well, we'll deal with it when it comes up. Dread Trap will probably be dead by then. If not, we can do something else with it. Alright, so if you want to consume that thing, so it's going to be 36 seconds. 2 seconds, Oblique Thoughts will pass. We'll be able to use the first summoning spell instead of having it drop into the trap. We should be fine. Should be. Okay, and we're also dealing with notoriety, so we don't want to grab that painting quite yet. What we want to do is just keep on keeping on. Like I said, if this becomes grindy, I'll just skip ahead to when it stops becoming grindy and I can create the second portrait. In the meantime, since we're going to be here for a while, we might as well do the third initiation for our Exalted. Boom. So, alright, 90% chance we'll get that one by. Breathe. Of course, with our luck, I probably need that slot open for grabbing that, but if necessary, I'll use the change of address tactic to be able to get rid of the notoriety. We do it so many times, but it's good to have it in your back pocket just in case. And back into the underworld. Breathe. Okay. Yep, you're not going to find anything. Boom. There you go. Alright. Pausing is... No, I'm pausing a lot. Apologies for that. But, as you know, these things require some attention. Oops. Well, I guess we're summoning another maid in the mirror. What the heck. Kind of in a continuous cycle there, as that's the dread she generated when she left. Okay, boom. And that should be treasures lie before us, which is good, because 10 seconds I can start that one. And we can knock out another one of the basic lore combinations to get a level 6. Yes, it becomes a factory at some point. Once you have it stabilized, you're just grinding towards the next scenario. Boom. Okay, so all of these are now exalted. We can now switch the cult. To check the, text here, I should have, by the way. Kind of showing how, out clever yourself. Spiral things to prepare the path, but I am the path. I could alter the forms that have been established. Once and only once we can shift it. So we want to shift it over to... whoops. First, you start, then the new founding principle. We want the new founding principle, not winter, we want it to be moth. Rededicate cult to the moth. There we go. Boom. Then we will have our new cult, and then we'll begin, of course, getting all of our moth people up to 10. This, of course, creates a scenario in which I have, 6 exalted and able to get about 60% of the challenges done with only one person, as well as being able to steal evidence at 90%. So at that point, I will not be suffering in any way, shape, or form for police attention, which is good because I intend to, abuse the hell out of that scenario. All right, so let's get these two combined together at level 10. I need one level 10 in order to get to the win conditions of the game for each lord. You notice I still only have, whoops, I think. Yep, there we go. I have 4 out of the 7 now, which is good, but, got to keep going. And once we get to the cult, by the way, we'll be able to access the stag door, get the riddle done, and be able to get to the higher level mantis because we have a level 10 light lore, which is all we need to be able to get to the top one. Although I'll have to dive in and get that mirror probably from Kurgan's Scratch, which is already an expedition I've unlocked. Okay, so, boom. Now, we've rededicated to the moth. We've got the witch with the, and we also have the temptation sensation, which is kind of random, but okay. Now the temptation, oh, we got restlessness too. The temptation is our course, like I said, our key to getting to the stag riddle. So we'll grab the stag riddle. We'll paint the hell out of that restlessness because I do not need dread accumulating on me. It can accumulate faster than you can imagine. All right. And to be able to do that. In the meantime, I think I've completely forgotten to, hang on. I've completely forgotten to get Pops up to a disciple level, so we're going to use the new cult status and just toss it in there. Go. Because I got plenty of moth lore. Moth lore is the easiest to get, as I noted in the Mothman strategy. Okay. Ah, alright, cool. Another restlessness. Oh, it just keeps going. But at least we have, temptation to do so. Now, what's interesting is I have the temptation to transform into a vampire. My cult wants me to turn into their priest. So, yeah, mixed messages here. Now, this is the point you can actually abandon your cult's desires and just do it yourself. Go in, change the temptation to anything you want it to be, and then just win the game that way normally. But that's just going to give you a standard aspirant victory. We're going for the priest victory. There's actually a unique priest failure scenario too, which is kind of funny. All right, so we're going to be able to get that one to pass. And boom. You are currently fully upgraded, which is great. Now I have everybody working together in my cult at nearly full capacity. And contentment and dreams of the rain. What the? Oh, I messed this up. What do I need to do again? Way to the white door, then that. Oh, it grabbed the reputation out of the damned thing. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Let's do the stag door again. Yes, it is getting to the point where I'm probably going to start calling the episode. Let me get the stag door up and running, and I'll see if I can get the riddle for that. And then by the time I start the next game, I will have access to all levels of the Mantis, which is awesome. And again, let me guess, restlessness. Oh my god. How many times do you need to get restlessness in a row? Painting the hell out of the things, though. That's right, I'm having my restlessness is manifesting as my blue mood. My blue mood. The best way of putting it, phase as an artist. Okay. And boom. Boom. Alright. Got the riddle, I think. Yes, the riddle is what must open before the way does. Easy peasy. All we need is the level 6 lore. What? Oh, that's 4. Oh, I almost had a heart attack there. Serpent's answer, on myself must be open, behold my blood when it is shed. I wonder if that's always the answer when you the priest one, because that would make sense considering it's founded on the Enoch principles. So, like I said before, we'll grab this, and as you can see, we had a few things happen today. This episode, probably going to run slightly long as a result, unfortunately. So yeah, so the scenario is that we managed to get the 3 Exalted Heart Cult. We've killed an higher level officer in Suppression Bureau, and are still running below the radar as a result. And we murdered another, no, we didn't actually murder the monks this time. We actually just, tricked them and stole all their stuff. So again, we're having another interfaith rivalry. It's just terrible. The thing is, if you're playing a Lovecraftian cult in most games, the investigator's not your worst problem. It's your fellow cultists. I mean, some people want to end the world for Azathoth, others want to do it for Cthulhu, and you all get to fight over, who gets to end the world, because, we all want the bragging rights. I mean, you don't get it for very long after you destroy the world, but I think it's just in the principle of the thing. Anyways, this has been Fantastic Worlds. And no, this is Fantastic Worlds. This has been Cultist Simulator, tips and tricks to Priest DLC. Hope you find it entertaining. Like, share, subscribe. And of course, as I noted before, we passed the 550 mark, so we will be unlocking the first Legend and Lore series, which will be aspects and influences, going over the mystical energies that are within the game itself. Now, this isn't going to be a gameplay one per se, but one that explains the theories behind the game, which make it easier to understand how to play and manipulate the game. So, kind of also give you some really cool history about the pseudo-Gnosticism background of the game itself, which is buried deep in the lore, which is fascinating if you're the type that like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, where you can have to pull up the backstory through all the descriptions. In any case, I will see you next time, and have a good day, night. Catch you later.